Welcome, everyone, to the 27th discussion of the Smart World Around Us, the podcast from Smart-EDU Hub. Today, we're doing a deep dive into a really interesting article called Is Blended Learning Here to Stay? Public Administration Education in Romania. It's by Diana Iancu, Catalin, Vrabie, and Mihai, Ungureanu.
That's right. And our mission today really is to unpack how the the COVID-19 crisis sort of pushed things along. Did it actually help integrate practical skills into Romania's public administration or PA curriculum? And, can this blended learning approach genuinely help create more adaptable, more autonomous civil servants down the line?
Okay, let's get into it then. There's some important context here, right? This isn't a new problem for public administration education. The core question, maybe the one practitioners care most about, is what skills do they actually need from the people they hire?
Well, they expect quite a lot. If you look at the official standards, like in the administrative code, the performance criteria are pretty demanding. We're talking about implementation capacity, strong problem-solving skills, the ability to learn from experience, to self-refine, and fundamentally the capacity to analyze and synthesize complex stuff. They're looking for independent thinkers.
Right, independent thinkers. And this is where it gets, frankly, a bit strange for you listening. If that's the demand analysis, problem solving, why did the authors find such a huge disconnect when it came to actual recruitment?
Yeah. That's the central irony, isn't it? Despite wanting all these high-level skills, the research clearly shows recruitment tests often boil down to just, memorizing legal texts, rote learning.
Memorizing.
Pretty much. It's like testing someone on their ability to be a walking encyclopedia of laws, which tells you very little about whether they can apply that law correctly or, think creatively or plan effectively. That skills gap is just enormous.
And then you got the academic side, which the authors found is incredibly uniform.
Exactly. Super homogenous. The standards from the Romanian Agency for Quality Assurance in Higher Education, let's just call them the Quality Assurance Agency, mean that basically all PA bachelor programs, the 30 they looked at, have learning outcomes that are over 95% identical.
Wow, 95%.
Yeah. And the focus, it's heavily on theory, on being able to identify the right legal act, and on ethical frameworks. Now, that's all important, but this very standardized, theory-heavy approach struggles, naturally, to produce that adaptable, problem-solving civil servant everyone says they need.
So the system is rigid, standardized. It makes you wonder, can something like blended learning actually, bridge that gap, get closer to the craft of public administration?
Well, that's what the authors investigated. They looked at the only PA bachelor program in Romania that was already using a blended approach, actually since way before the pandemic. They used the Moodle platform, upcampus.ro, I think it is, for more flexible, collaborative learning.
Okay, and what did they find? When they surveyed the students in that program, what came out, especially about those practical skills?
The results were very positive. Student satisfaction was incredibly high, over 97%. But here's the really interesting part for our discussion. How the students felt it changed their learning. A huge chunk, 58%, mentioned learning to organize their own study time better. And 36% talked about working more independently.
Okay. So because blended learning often involves working through things on your own time, maybe asynchronously.
Exactly. It almost forces you to manage your time, plan ahead, figure things out without someone constantly looking over your shoulder. These are precisely those transversal skills, self-organization, independence that the practitioners value so highly.
So there seems to be a real, potentially positive link there. Blended learning might naturally cultivate the very skills needed for effective public service that the traditional system struggles with.
That's the core argument, yes. The data suggests it's a promising direction, but, and this is the big question it leaves us with, it raises a serious point about institutional change.
Right. The provocative thought, perhaps.
Precisely. Given how fragmented central administration can be and the, let's say, lack of strategic coordination between government ministries and universities right now, how quickly can the system realistically adopt this? Can it institutionalize blended learning effectively? And crucially, will those competencies, even if developed, actually be recognized and rewarded in the way people are hired? That's the hurdle.
That is definitely a powerful thought to end on. How does the system adapt not just the teaching, but the valuing of those skills? Well, thank you for joining us for this deep dive today. If you enjoyed this discussion, and we hope you did, please be sure to like and subscribe to the Smart-EDU Hub channel. That way you'll be the first to know about new podcasts. And just a reminder, you can find a link to the article we talked about today right there in the podcast description below. Stay smart with Smart-EDU Hub.